WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru,
Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the WhyGuru course. This is the promo for the entire course. Sikhi is the world's 5th largest religion, and there is, in my opinion and many other people's opinion, a serious lack of basic and broad knowledge across all parts of Sikhi. Alongside that lack of knowledge is also a lack of systematic introductory courses. So if you want to go and learn about Sikhi somewhere, you may learn about some parts from, say, a camp or from people that you know in a Gurdwara, but covering the whole areas, the basics of all the areas specifically with discussion, is not really that available. What we're trying to do here is get people to think about why was Sikhi made, and why did Guru come here, and then why did they do what they did. And then we'll focus on the how and the what. Once you buy the why of it, and then everything else just follows. You know, there's a great video I'm going to put in the link below about focusing on why versus how and what. This course is focused at students, graduates, it's focused at adults, people who effectively have now finished university or didn't go to university but are now full-time working, they have kids, and their main language is English. And actually they find very few opportunities to learn Sikhi. They may go to Gurdwara, they may not connect as much, they may really want to learn things systematically and discuss, but these things are not available. This is not a kids course. Now, in terms of what it is, this is a course which is taught completely in English, and also we're assuming no prior knowledge of Sikhi or Gurbani. It's a 12-week course. What that means is one evening a week is all we ask for. Now you may say, well, it's online, and I'll go into that later on how it's set up to be delivered online, but this is how it was done. 12 weeks, one topic each week, one evening a week. It's to get people to share their thoughts on the topics that were discussed or taught, any questions they have, address them, and really just get people to talk together. For us, really, that's Sangat. And this course was something that I and a few other people dreamed up many, many years ago. I'm thinking about 10 years ago now. And actually, only recently did I write it up, and we got people to, we hired people to do some of the research. And then this year, in May to July, delivered it at Shepherd's Bush Gurdwara. Now, this was a pilot course. It was very positive. The people that attended it, the testimonials are going to be at the end of the video. And so the idea is, now that it's done, is to roll it out across the UK and hopefully globally. The objectives are to explore the lives and the writings and the social revolution led by the Gurus. So what it was that they did, what they wrote, their lives, and what did they want to actually achieve. We want to understand the mystical teachings for the oneness with the divine. It's very key because obviously Guru has come to enlighten us. Part of the course specifically focuses on the Guru Granth Sahib Ji in much more detail, the structure of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the common prayers, and looks specifically at the raag and the taal musical tradition to give a basic understanding of that. And from Guru Gobind Singh Ji passing on the Gurgadi to the Guru Khalsa Panth, the Guru Granth, to look at the Khalsa collective from 1700 onwards and what happened. And I'll go into topics in more detail in a second. And also to explore through discussion the relevance of Gurus to us now and the world in general, not just the Sikhs. The course topics then. The first one we start off is, why did Guru Nanak Dev Ji come? Obviously some of these videos have been made on the YouTube channel already, but this is in much more detail. Why meditate? What's the concept of merging with the divine? It's week 2. Week 3 we look at Guru Angad Dev Ji, the 2nd Guru, all the way to the Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the 5th Guru. And then in week 4 we look at Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shahidi, they martyrdom, and how the Gurgadi then went to their son, the 6th Guru, Guru Har Gobind Sahib. And in week 5 we look at the Guru Granth Sahib Ji itself, because obviously Guru Arjan Dev Ji was the main compiler of the Ard Granth, and we look at what it was that they structured, how they structured it, whose writings are inside there, and how amazing it is really. So the 6th week we cover from Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji through to Guru Tegh Bahadur, through to their Shahidi and the life of Guru Gobind Rai, the young Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and up to the point of the formation of the Khalsa. And 7th we cover just the Khalsa itself. How was it formed? What was the concept behind it? Week 8 we look from 1699, the formation of the Khalsa, to 1708, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave the Gurgaddi to the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And following that, we look at 1708 to 1801. This is a key area, actually not a lot of people know about, the Missile period, what happened during the time of Banda Singh Bahadur and what happened after that, up until 1801, where Ranjit Singh was crowned Emperor of Punjab. In week 9, we look at Kirtan itself. Why do we sing Kirtan, raag Kirtan, taal, what are all these things? And we're going to have some live music to understand how amazing Kirtan is. Week 10, we look at from time of Ranjit Singh's kingdom to it basically collapsing under the British onslaught. And then following on from that, the Sikhs under the British. So all the way up to 1925. And then we look at 1925 to 1947, the British leave and India as a country gets its independence and Pakistan is formed. And then we look at 1947 to 1984, the Punjabi Suba movement, and then the build up to 1984 itself. And then week 12, we look at what happened post 1984. We look at the current situation in Punjab and also the current situation in the Panth. And then obviously just to discuss, having looked at everything through all these weeks, we'll then look forward as to what kind of things are facing the Panth right now and what might be some bright lights that we can focus upon. It's quite comprehensive, as you can tell. Well, originally, as I said, we delivered this over 12 weeks in Shepherd's Bush. The idea of the online course is to flip the classroom. So therefore, you will learn online by watching these YouTube videos. The benefit of that is it's in your own time. You can do it in your own convenience in the evening when you can fit it in. And the key thing is you can pause, you can rewind, you can research online at the same time to back up what we've said. Finally, once that course is online and the material is available, the idea is that volunteers would come forward to be facilitators. And they would run this course at different Gurdwara, different universities. The material is online, and what the facilitator would do would be to advertise the course, to enroll students, get the room, maybe get some pakode and all these things, logistics. And then basically on the week that they're discussing that topic, they would have a short summary of what was discussed in the topic. And then basically go straight into questions from people and then just discuss some of the points that we'll give them as well, discussion points. And we would actually run that facilitators course. We would train people, whether in person or online, to be the deliverer. And finally, they would obviously be trained to create a very relaxed and informal environment. So for people to learn and also for them to have some sangat and build a bit of community for the next 12 weeks. Now, is it for me? Now, you might be asking yourself this question right now. Should I go on this course? Well, for the student, the key thing is they want to know why was Sikhi made and what is Sikhi. So they're interested in exploring Sikhi and having a foundation knowledge across most areas. As you've seen, it's quite comprehensive, but it is still foundation knowledge. And the key thing is they are open-minded and willing to engage in discussions. If they've got questions, they should be able to bring them out. The facilitators, obviously, these are the people that are going to make this work. We need these people to be the kind of guys or girls, cause and sings, who wish to learn and also transfer that knowledge. Ideally, they'd be following the Guru's path already. What I mean by that is we don't want people to be preaching something they're not actually practicing. And for them, the ideal would be that they actually want people, the students, to become informed and independent thinkers. Not just to take their line, but to just arm themselves with knowledge. So what we call Gyan Khadag, the sword of knowledge. And they need to be able to mediate discussions and differing viewpoints and avoid arguments. It's very easy to let a discussion go on too far. Okay, so here are some of the testimonials from the pilot course.
I've tremendously enjoyed the WhyGuru course. I found it informative, entertaining, there's lots of information. I've learned loads of interesting facts. I really enjoyed the presentation and I've enjoyed coming every week. I would highly, highly recommend it. I have a background in Kundalini Yoga, so I had some knowledge of some of the terms, some of the mantras, some of the names of the gurus, but I felt I had lots of gaps in my knowledge and I wanted to find out more, and it's far exceeded my expectations of it.
I think coming from a background where I've been born into a Sikh family, much like a number of other people, we have a lot of information on Sikhi that's been derived from books, from the Gurdwara. And what the WhyGuru course has delivered is to bring a lot of that information together, but most importantly the facts. Bringing that together and actually illustrating the timeline of what the Gurus did and most importantly why they did it. I think that has been probably the most enlightening part of the course for myself. via the discussions, understanding what issues other Sikhs are going through as well. And for myself, I think a deeper understanding of what being a Sikh actually is something I've gained.
I've particularly enjoyed the latter part of the course, which has been about Sikh history after the Gurus. It's not kind of very well compiled, the history following the Gurus, so it's been enlightening to know about the relationships with the British and even with the Indian government, particularly how figures like Indira Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi and their relationship with the Sikhs, as well as particularly the British. I've been introduced to information that I'd previously just never encountered, and it's kind of it has had an impact. Knowing now how the media works in India and their kind of negative idea of Sikhs, of course it's very upsetting, and not being able to do anything about it is something to think about for the future. How can this be overcome? I would really recommend you join and attend the WhyGuru course, because there is a great amount of information to be taken on, and it's a great introduction to something so complex.
So the WhyGuru course for me has been really good, because I didn't necessarily intend to go on it in the beginning, but kind of arrived here, and I'm so grateful that I did, because it's really brought back the basics and the essence of what Sikhi is to the forefront of my mind, and something which can so easily get lost through the history. We've not only covered that, but we've gone into why the Gurus did what they did, and why what the messages were, and it's really kind of stripped back what Sikhi has become today, and we can then kind of understand why it is in the state that it is. Not saying it's in a bad state, but it just puts things in context. I think the format's been really good, kind of having to be there in person, so you can ask questions. Yeah, I'd highly recommend it, because you understand things to a very good level, and across there's so many different aspects to Sikhi. Yeah, the format of course is excellent, so I think people will really get something out of it. In any of these areas, not just Gyuthon, in any of these areas you can go as deep as you want.
Yeah.
So it's a question of just trying to give people something which they can then take on board and move forward with. And I think the course has done that across all the different aspects really well.
I found the course very inspiring. There's just so much to take from it. Coming from a background of a Punjabi Sikh, there's so many questions that we have, and I found the course answered those questions before I actually asked them. This course was, for me, was sort of like the missing piece in the jigsaw. The stories that we know, but we don't necessarily know the whole story. And there's parts that have been amazing, because that's the inspiring part. That's the part we want to know. That's what I've been able to gain from it. The most inspiring part is to understand the Naam Japna part. I think when we think of the 3 pillars, we all try to do that, I think, to earn an honest living. The Vandgi Shakna, we give to the Gurdwara, we give to charities, we understand that's important, but the Naam Japna, I don't think I've ever put such an importance on that, and that's arguably the most important part. That part has been the difference in all of this for me.
What I really liked about the course was the structure that it was done in. So it followed a chronological order, but in the middle of that we discussed other issues such as spirituality, music, Kirtan, and the role of Sikhs in modern society and the challenges they face. So it was a good mix of different topics, and ended up being a very rich discussion. What was also really good was the Q&A sessions that enabled us to dwell on what had been discussed, and and engage in a lively discussion. My family's not particularly religious. I've done a reasonable amount of reading around Sikhism, so I wanted to plug in the gaps and see if I was missing anything, and the course definitely enabled me to achieve that.
The main thing for me was it's in the name, is the why element. It's easy to sort of, if you have a specific question, to find out knowledge, but to really actually have understanding, you need to cover so much ground in the way of knowledge that it's really, really helpful to have someone that's actually well versed in numerous different aspects of Sikhi, and there's obviously like try to cover as much ground as possible to try and impart that meaning across to you in a very concise and understandable way. So that was the main thing that I was looking for, and yeah, I felt that was fully met. I think anyone, regardless of how much knowledge you have, would benefit from coming on the course. I think it's very well structured, and there's no way that you could have the level of understanding that we get out of this 12 weeks if you were trying to do it in your own time. I think it cuts the learning curve like in half, but probably way more than that. So I definitely highly recommend it.
And I feel like it's a very useful platform to try and expand my knowledge. I would welcome any further courses.
As you can see, people really enjoyed that course, and I think given the right environment, it can be really successful. So what next? Well, first thing we'd like you to do, if you're watching this, is spread the word about this course, get people to like the Facebook, get them to sign up to our Twitter so know what's coming up next. Obviously, if you wish to become a facilitator or a student, then let us know so that we know where the demand is, and we can hopefully find a facilitator in your area and then get the students to sign up to that. Obviously, we're a YouTube channel, so watch, learn and share. Just spread this information. It's for everybody. And then support our mission if you can with Guru's Daswand. Why I call it Guru Daswand is we know that Daswand is not our money, it's Guru's money. And this comes in line with our mission. We really want to take this to the next step. We really want this WhyGuru course to be a foundation level of knowledge in as many places as we can get it to. So in every major university with lots of Sikhs, and every major Gurdwara, this course should be available, and it should be on an ongoing basis. You can sign up to this maybe every 3 months or every half a year, and really get it so that people get this knowledge and it gets widespread. And for that, we need full-time tutors and coordinators. So please come forward, offer your seva, offer your daswand. Everything's 13 is our charity. You can go on to look at that, everything's13.org. The concept is Sab Kich Tera. Everything's 13. Sab Kich Tera Waheguru Ji. Everything is yours. And really, it's a charity designed to spread Guru's knowledge. So you may think, okay, I've done this course, what's going to come next? Well, as you can tell, we like wordplay. So Why Guru? Next part is Why Khalsa, Why Fateh. And that course will be really about developing knowledge a bit further, from basic to maybe intermediate. And that's going to be more on streams of learning. So one might be, theory of raag, kirtan and the tunis in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the theory of taals and the main instruments that are used for percussion, taking Gurmukhi, learning from scratch, all the way up to being able to understand vocabulary in Gurbani, deeper historical study of those areas, and looking at other scriptures and texts that we can refer to. And also look at the Gurmat philosophy and spirituality, looking at things like inspirational Sikh figures and inspirational books. How can I take myself further and learn more? And finally, the Panthic issues and the future. This is something that's not really discussed that much. We tend to look backwards quite a lot, but also looking forward, what can we do? Now, to make this Why Khalsa, Why Fateh happen, we'll really need people to be working full time on preparing that material, interviewing the right people, because obviously one person or two people can't do this. We need more people to get involved. We need to get people to actually fly out to India and interview the experts in these areas, so the quality of knowledge, once it's recorded and put online, stays consistent, delivered to as many people as we can in our Panth. So that's the WhyGuru course. Look forward to week 1 about why Guru Nanak Dev Ji came on this earth. This course, there's no way does it claim to be the perfect source of all foundation knowledge. It's just a few people's attempt to make sense of Sikhi from as many areas as we can think about. If we make mistakes in this course, please forgive us, and please bless us with your knowledge. Share with us, let us learn from you as well, and share it as much as you can, and please help to make it a success. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Waheguru